Welcome, my name's Sheree. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about my 2024 most anticipated reads. There are a lot of books on this list. I made an entire list. There are 45 books on the list. So let's just get into it because I don't know how long this video is going to be. I have books ranging all the way, two of the books already came out in January, and then the last book that I have comes out, I think, September. First book on the list is called Womb City, and I was lucky enough to get an ARC of this on an e-ARC, so I need to read this ASAP because it actually came out already. It came out January 23rd. It says that it imagines a dark and deadly future rich with culture and true folklore, which begs the question, how far must one go to destroy the structures of inequality upon which a society was founded? It gives me like women's bodies are being controlled, or like babies are being harvested. It's very sci-fi, and just the cover alone makes me want to read it. Next book is The Queen of Sugar Hill, and that book already came out the last day of January, and it's about Hattie McDaniel. And if you don't know who Hattie McDaniel is, she was in Gone with the Wind, and she played the maid, I believe, in Gone with the Wind. It's a fictionalized story of like her life, which I think is so interesting. She's the first Black woman to win an Oscar for her role as Mammy in Gone with the Wind, which is amazing. So they did a fictionalized, I don't know, story of her life. So I think that's so interesting. So we're gonna read that. The next book is Come and Get It by Kylie Reed. She wrote Such a Fun Age, and I read that like when it first came out years ago. And this is her second novel. I liked Such a Fun Age. I thought it was, I mean, it had its issues, but I thought it was an interesting story, and I like her writing. So I'm excited to read Come and Get It. The next book, Tia Williams. Tia Williams is putting out a new book called A Song for Ricki, Wilde, and I can't wait. 7 Days in June is one of my favorite books, but I heard that I shouldn't go in with the expectations of it being 7 Days in June because I feel like it's different. I heard it's different. There's like a mystery element, a little bit of romance, but also like mystery. So I feel like it's gonna be different, but I love her writing and I can't wait to read her next book. The next book that comes out on February 6th is called Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood, she usually writes about women in STEM, which is always fun. And her books are cute and funny, and she does contemporary romance. But with Bride, she is stepping into paranormal romance. And I can't imagine it being short of anything but amazing, because I love all her other books. So I'm excited. The next book is called The Women by Kristen Hanna. Now that I think about it, I've never actually completed a book by Kristen Hanna. I've read like half of The Great Alone. I read like half of the one about like the Dust Bowl. And I have The Nightingale, but I've never actually completed them. But I remember that while I was reading them, I actually really liked them. So I don't know why I never completed them. But she is coming out with a new book, and it's about nurses, I believe, during the Vietnam War. Sounds great. The next book to come out is called Welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop. I guess it's the first time this book is in English, but it's about this like bookshop owner, and it seems like cute and quaint, and like it'll be a good time. And then I want to read a book called Island Witch. The cover of this alone is amazing, and I think the author is Sri Lankan, and it just sounds amazing. Next I want to read is Blueprint. Okay, I just heard about this book yesterday, but it's called The Blueprint, and it's about a Black concubine for like a white political person or whatever, and all the secrets and stuff that end up happening with that. I was reading this now, and it sounds like it's gonna be really good, and it's based on, I guess, concubines, like Black women that were concubines for like actual political leaders like back in the 1800s. So I was kind of like, what? That sounds wild. The next book is What We Have Here, and it's just about the life of Billy D. Williams. And as we know, Billy D. Williams is in Star Wars, and I believe he plays Lando Calrissian. That's him, Billy D. Williams. And he's writing a memoir, and he's just writing about his life, and I think that's awesome. So the next one is called Wandering Stars by Tommy Orange. I need to read Tommy Orange's first book, There, and I haven't yet, and that makes me sad. But I can tell that I'm going to really vibe with Tommy Orange's writing, and so I'm excited that he has a new book coming out. It's long awaited because I know There was like a big hit, and there's another book coming out, and that's exciting. A book I'm really excited for is called Lore of the Wilds. It's like fae, the characters are black, and it just sounds so good. And it's like, it looks like the cover is like a love triangle. So I feel like there's romance, there's fantasy. It's everything I would want. I don't love reading about fae. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm just not that super interested in fae, but give me a black fae and I'm interested. Another book is called The Plot Partner, and this one's by Christina Forrest. I've only read one book by Christina Forrest, and it was a YA book, and I thought it was okay, but she came out with The Neighbor Favor last year, and I heard such great things about that book, so I need to read that one. But I think that she's moving into adult contemporary romance, and her covers look so cute. And this one is, I believe it's fake dating. Yeah, Marriage of Convenience, Second Chance, Marriage of Convenience. Two former high school sweethearts. That couldn't be more of what I would want to read. Second Chance, Marriage of Convenience. Some of my favorite tropes. I'm so excited. It sounds so good. The next one is called This Could Be Us. This is probably my most anticipated read of the year. This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. She is probably one of my favorite authors. This is a follow-up to her book Before I Let Go, and it's Soledad's story. And if this book is anything like Before I Let Go, I will be in tears, because Before I Let Go is about so many things, and the way that she talks about depression in that book is some of the most realistic depictions I've ever heard. Very personal. I have an arc and I'm not ready, because this is what happened last time. I had an arc Before I Let Go and I knew I wasn't ready, and I'm not ready this time. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm scared because I know it's just going to be painful, but also beautiful. I don't know if I'm ready for that. The next book is called The House of Hidden Meanings, and it's our queen mother, RuPaul. He wrote a memoir. Like, all I have to say is that. Our queen mother wrote a memoir. Next book is called Fruit of the Dead, and I'm purely wanting to read this for the cover because I think the cover is so cool. The next one's called Swift and Saddled, which is the follow-up to Done and Dusted, which is a cowboy romance that I read last year, and I didn't think I would like it, but I actually quite liked it a lot. Can I remember what it's about? No, I can't. But I have an arc of this. I'm excited to jump back into that world. Maybe reading the second one will like spark some memory about the first one. So the next one's called The Poisons We Drink. Another purely cover ad. It's about humans and witches in a country divided by humans and witches. So it's about witches. And as we know, I'm watching Vampire Diaries, and as we know, my favorite character in that is Bonnie. Justice for Bonnie, always. And if I can read about witches, black witches, I'm there. And the cover is also beautiful. Okay, the next book is called James by Percival Everett. So Huckleberry Finn, it's him and the other guy, Jimmy, okay? Jim. And Percival Everett is writing a book about Jim from his perspective. And I think that's such an interesting take. I just finished Erasure by Percival Everett, and I want to read like more of his stuff. So I'm excited to read his new book. Another one of my most anticipated reads this year is called Where Sleeping Girls Lie. I cannot wait. I already pre-ordered a copy from Waterstones because they have an exclusive Waterstones edition that has red edges. The book, Ace of Spades, to me is one of my favorite books. Like when I think I read it 2 years ago. I remember, like, I don't normally stay up at night where I'm like, oh, one more chapter. That's not normally like something that I do. But with that book, I was like, okay, one more chapter. I literally just sat up almost all night and read that book. And I haven't done that in a long time, but I love Ace of Spades, and I have been impatiently waiting for her second book, and I'm so excited. I am so excited. So when I saw that she announced this book, oh my God, I can't wait. I pre-ordered. I never pre-order. That's how excited I am. Abby Jimenez is coming out with a new book called Just for the Summer. I have read nothing by Abby Jimenez, but this book is fake dating. Fake dating and breaking up. They'll date each other and break up. It feels like Good Luck Chuck mixed with like fake dating. I guess this guy and this girl, they are both Good Luck Chuck. If you've seen the movie, it's older, not that old, I think 2000s. I think it's with Dane Cook, and I think Jessica Alba's in it. In that, Dane Cook has like the curse where it's like every person that he dates and like they end the relationship, the person that he's with finds like the one after that. I think that idea is so funny, and I feel like this book is that. So it's Good Luck Chuck mixed with that. The guy and the girl think they are both Good Luck Chuck. So they decide we're gonna date each other and then we're gonna break up. So then the curse should cancel each other out. And we all know that's probably not, but if two Good Luck Chucks find each other, then maybe they will be each other's one. And I think that's the concept. And I think that that sounds so fun. That might be what the first one I read by her, which is probably not true. I have other books by her, but that concept just sounds so fun for me. Next book is called The Reappearance of Rachel Price, and it's by Holly Jackson, the same woman who wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, or Bad Girl, yeah, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I really liked the first book in that series. I don't think I finished the series. For that book, she involved like podcasts and reports and things like that. So it's like mixed media almost. And this book is about a young girl who's trying to discover like something happened to her mom, and she was like a documentary filmmaker. And so she's trying to uncover the secret of like what happened to her. I think that sounds really interesting. The next book is called The Familiar. It's Leigh Bardugo's new book. I love Six of Crows, and I liked Shadow and Bone. I read the first one about Nikolai. I don't think I read something about wolves. I don't think I read the second one. I was really excited about the first one. I don't think I read the second one. Her stuff is like hit or miss for me, and I didn't love Ninth House. And I tried to do Hellbent, and I was like, what am I reading? So I want to give this one a chance. Like if I get it on my Kindle or something, like I want to give it a chance, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited because it's something different for her. Something completely different for her. Even though Ninth House was also very different from her other series, from the Grishaverse. But I think this is like even more different. Like she's very much writing in different genres now, and I think that's really interesting. So I definitely want to give it a chance. I love the cover, so I think I definitely want to give it a chance. Another one of my most anticipated is called One of Us Knows, and that is by Alyssa Cole. When No One Is Watching is like one of my favorite books also of all time, and I cannot wait to read when No One Knows. One of Us Knows. It writes a lot of romance, but When No One Is Watching is like a thriller about gentrification. It really gives like Get Out vibes, and if she's writing in that same style, I'm there. I'm there. This book is called When I Think of You by Myah Ariel, and that one comes out April 16th. I'm doing them in order of when they come out, and it's second chance romance. So I'm in. Next one's called Weird Black Girls, and the cover of this is so weird, the little tree and whatnot, but it's a short story collection, and it is about just like weird speculative fiction about like black girls, and I think that's great. Another one of my most anticipated is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I actually loved Happy Place. Loved Happy Place. And I remember reading Beach Read, loved that. It's funny because I haven't read her two middle books. I haven't read Book Lovers, and I haven't read People We Meet on Vacation. Maybe I need to read those two, but people keep saying that like Happy Place is different than the other ones. And so I don't know if Funny Story is going to be more like Happy Place or more like her other ones, but I'm really excited for Funny Story because I loved Happy Place. So the second book to the book called Blood Debts, which is also about witches and magic, the second book, Blood Justice, comes out in April. And I haven't read Blood Debts, but the cover, amazing for both books. I'm excited that there's going to be a second book, only because I'm so excited to read the first that I think I will want to read the second book when it comes out. So next book is called The Only Black Girl in the Room. It is about a reporter, a black reporter, and she's kind of stuck doing the like diversity stories at her job. She does like the diversity checks for her colleagues, and she wants to like get out of that, and she wants to do other things. And so she gets a chance to cover a gala and like CEO that's going to be there. But what she doesn't realize is that the CEO is her ex. So that already seems kind of iffy for her. I think this book could go in a lot of different ways. I think that there's definitely going to be some like probably conversations about being the only black person in the room at a job. And I think there'll be some cute little maybe second chance romance vibes, which could be fun. And it's like a workplace romance type thing. So I think it'd be great. So Christina Lauren, my OG girls that got me into reading romance. Honestly, Christina Lauren, they are the first like romance books that I started reading back in, I don't even know, 2018, 2019. They are the people, they are the women that sparked my love for reading romance. I was like never a romance person before I started reading Christina Lauren, and that was like 2018. And they're coming out with a new book called The Paradise Problem. Unhoneymooners is my favorite book by them, and I'm hoping it's more like that, more like Unhoneymooners, because I still need to read like their last couple books. There's like one called like the Honey Don't List, which was not that great, but I love their concept. The way they write is just so like light and fun and so easy to get into. I remember reading one of their books in like one day, and I had to work that day. That's how like fast I just went through it. But I've always loved like their concepts, and it's just fun and light and just easy to get through. And I remember I started reading them because I was like, okay, my love life is shit, and at least if I read romance, I know that things will always work out. And in their books, things always work out. And that makes me happy. The next book is You Like It Darker by Stephen King. I will admit, I have not read Stephen King's like most recent books. Like I am behind, okay? I've read like his first, like The Shining, Carrie, like I did a whole thing where I read like his first couple books, and then I read It. He came out with one, The Institute, so I read that and that was okay. But then like he went into mystery and I haven't picked them up, but he is writing this one, If You Like It Darker, and it's a short story collection, and I'm interested because the stories are going to be a bit darker than like his other stuff. I feel like he may be going back to like It vibes or like The Shining vibes or like The Dead Zone, like those kind of like dark stories. So I don't know, it could be interesting. We'll see. So Kevin Kwan is coming out with a new book called Lies and Weddings, and I do love Crazy Rich Asians, and I still need to read his book Sex and Vanity. So he has a new book and it sounds interesting. So the next book coming out is called Daydream, and that is number 3 in, I believe it's called the Maple Hill series. And I read Icebreaker. I remember thinking like I liked Icebreaker, it was cute, whatever. I haven't read the second one, but I remember thinking when I was reading that book, we need a Henry story. Okay, Henry is like a friend in the book, like a supporting character. He's a supporting character. And I kept thinking, Henry needs his own story. Henry needs his own story. And we're getting a Henry book. We're getting a Henry book. And I'm so excited. I don't even know if I'm gonna read the second one because I just want to get to Henry's book. I was waiting. I think we all thought that the second book might be Henry's book, and it wasn't. So now we gotta wait till the third. And I loved Henry so much, like in that book. In the first one, in Icebreaker. I need to read Wildfire, I guess. That's the second one. And I don't know if I have to, but I feel like just because I'm a completist and I would want to read that before I read the third one, I might do that. So Ali Hazelwood is coming out with a third book this year. Well, she did Bride, and then she's coming out with one called Not in Love, and she's going back to STEM. So that's always good. And we get to be back in STEM. I love the way she writes about women in STEM so much. The next book is called One of Our Kind by Nicola Yoon. This is Nicola Yoon's first adult novel, which is Wilde. I have read, I think, almost everything by her. I read everything. And I love The Sun Is Also a Star. I think I like that one more than everything. I have to read Instructions for Dancing. I have that one back in California. And so now she's coming out with her first adult novel, and it gives like Stepford Wives vibes, and I cannot wait. It only has 27 ratings right now on Goodreads. That's crazy, I guess, because it's not out, and it's not gonna be out until June 11th. So that makes sense. I met her one time at a signing. She's really nice, and oh, I cannot wait. The next book is called The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. I have read no books by Catherine Center, but she writes one called The Bodyguard, and then she wrote another book called Hello Stranger, and I have a feeling I'm really gonna like The Bodyguard because it's about a female bodyguard, and it's a bodyguard romance, which I love, but it's a female bodyguard, which is like flips it on its head, and I love that. And so she's writing one called The Rom-Commers, and it sounds great, and I'm really excited for it. In June, I have to wait 6 months. 6 months, because Akweke Emeze is coming out with a new book called Little Rot. I cannot wait. I love Kweke Emeze. I love the cover of this book. A thrilling new novel from Kweke Emeze about 5 friends trying to outrun and outmatch a powerful underground world, the elite underbelly of a Nigerian city. A breakup that starts a spiral, a party that goes awry, a tangled web of sex and lies and corruption that leaves no one unscathed. Little Rot is a whirling journey through the city's dark side, told through the eyes of 5 people, each determined to run from the twisted powers out to destroy them. Range. When I talk about range, look up the definition of range in the dictionary and you will see a Kweke Emeze. Another book coming out is called Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Paul Tremblay and I have an interesting relationship. Okay, so he wrote that book, House at the End of the Something, House Something, Cabin at the End of the Woods, I think is what it's called. Cabin at the End of the World. And I did not like it. I didn't like it. They made a movie, tried to watch the movie, didn't get that far, but I think the movie is directed by M. Night Shyamalan. And everybody knows M. Night Shyamalan is hit or miss. So similarly, the book was a miss for me. I'm reading another book by him called Head Full of Ghosts, which is one of his like older books, and I'm really liking that. Horror movie, anything involving like movies and horror, like in a book, I'm there. So that's really what like drew me in. The title and the cover are really what are getting me. There's this book coming out called Bloodguard, and it seems very random, but I don't know if anyone's been on Amazon lately. I'm sure they have, but there's these books that are coming out with like more decorated edges, sprayed edges, kind of like Fourth Wing. Like the first edition of Fourth Wing came out with like the black edges. This book is coming out with red edges. It's a new book in a series. It's about gladiators. Lythe of Grey thought coming to his new land and volunteering to fight in the gladiator arena would earn him enough gold to save his dying sister. He thought there was nothing left to lose. He was wrong and they took everything. Another book coming out is called A Novel Love Story. Now, this is by the same author who wrote The 7-Year Slip, which I didn't love as much as everybody else, which is fine, but it did make me want to read cooking books because the guy in the book is a chef. I did like the cooking, the chef aspect of it, and that made me want to like read more chef cooking books or whatever. And so she's coming out with one called A Novel Love Story, and that's about 2 people, I believe, that work in a bookstore. No, after reading more, it's not about 2 people that work at a bookstore. It's about a professor of literature who is going to like this book club thingy and it like falls through. So she ends up at this bookstore and then she meets like the bookstore owner. And I think there's like a romance between them. Now that's my kind of book. That's the kind of romance, that's the kind of bookish romance that I want to be reading. So Stephen Graham Jones is coming out with a new book called I Was a Teenage Slasher. I love slasher films. That's my preferred genre of horror. And if he's writing a book that's called I Was a Teenage Slasher, I want to read it. Another book coming out, we're into July now, so we're at the end of the list really. The Grandest Game. I have the first 3, like the original trilogy. I don't have number 4, and then we're coming out with number 5. I loved the first book and I need to finish that series. I'm gonna try and finish it this year. I'm excited that we're like still continuing on in that series because the first one was so good. It seems like we're probably so far from where we were in book 1, and I'm like excited to like get back into that series. Another book is called The Dead Cat Tells Assassins by P. Jelly Clark. I read Ring Shout by him and I absolutely loved it. And it was a very short little story. Dead Cat Tells Assassins sounds so cool. It's about assassins? Yes, I'm there. And then last but not least, I actually saw this book on, I think, TikTok first. I know, crazy. It was like a cover reveal because I think I either follow the author or her thing just popped up. But it's a book called The Immortal Dark. It's called Immortal Dark. The cover is amazing. It's about vampires. Black vampires. It's a dark fantasy romance where one girl must join a secret society of vampires in order to find her missing sister. That sounds amazing. You know, I love a vampire story. Written by Tigest Girma. She's an Ethiopian writer. And I saw this cover reveal on TikTok and that was why I was like, wow, that cover's amazing. And then I read what it was about and I was like, yes, vampires. That's all the books. That was 45 books. 45 of my anticipated reads for the year. That was only like the first half of the year. I'm gonna have to do another video for the second half of the year because I know that obviously we're gonna get more books from people. More books are gonna be announced later in the year. So I'll have to do a second one. But I've never done a video like this where I have like anticipated reads. I've never like compiled a list and done a video. So I hope it was good. I hope that you are just excited as I am to read some of these books. And I won't be buying them all because mini book buying bans over here, but I will be finding a way to read them all, that's for sure. And that will probably be through my library. Anyway, that's it. Until next time, if you made it this far in the video, thank you. Thank you so much. And comment below if you're like excited also to read any of these books, and you know, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. But until next time, bye.